Hi, how are you? I'm Mr. Amuso. Today we want to revise, we want to talk about questions that we have at advanced level Zimbabwean history. Our question for today reads, evaluate the effectiveness of the Africans' response to colonial labor policies 1900 and 1930. We want to look on the effectiveness of the Africans, how they responded to colonial labor policies. Were their methods effective or they were less effective? So that is what we want to discuss today. So when a question comes, what are you supposed to do? The first thing that you're supposed to do is to underline, identify the keywords. So which are our keywords on this question? We are evaluating. We are talking about the effectiveness, the Africans' response, colonial labor policies, 1900 to 1930. So, our first side, we're going to talk about how the Africans responded, how they responded to the labor policies that were introduced by the whites. Number one, they to forge passes. They were supposed to move. If you are going anywhere, you're supposed to move around with a pass. They started to forge what these are passes. So by so doing now, we see that it was a method that they did, and it was effective. They also did what was known as absenteeism. They had to absent themselves from different workplaces where they were working, and that on its own, it was what are effective. I'm giving you an off. Come back on Friday, they did not come. Come back on Tuesday, they did not come. So that was an effective way that they to respond to labor policies. They to give these wines nicknames. So when they were moving, talking, whatever they were talking about, they to give a nickname to their wines. And by so doing, the wines did not know that it was them that were being talked by these Africans. So it was another method that they also used. They also used graffiti. Graffiti, we are talking about writing. They wrote Kumadziro. They wrote on the walls the abuses that they were facing at different workplaces where they were also working. They also had to boil crops, or also they had to boil seeds. So by so doing, when those seeds were planted, they were not going to germinate. Why? Because they were boiled. They also had to break machines. They vandalized machines, and it was an effective method that they also had to use. Despite these many methods that they used, we also see that, however, to a lesser extent, some Africans they collaborated with these whites. Some Africans they also had to spy. We are at what the other white Africans they are planning to do this and that. So spying now it led their methods not to be what effective. So these are the methods that were done by the Africans. They were effective to a greater extent. However, they were less effective. Why? Because of collaboration and the issue of spying that was done by the other Africans. That is how we answer this question. Thank you so much. I'm Mr. Muso.